I'm Justin Pierce, and when I'm at the state capitol and I need to relax, I take a guitar off of my wall and I sit and strum for a little while. I have 5 children and they are the absolute love of my life. They are why I do what I do. We're in a legislative committee and the issue of abortion was being discussed, and we had people that came to testify and said, special needs children can be a burden on people. And I turned a picture around on my computer, I showed it to everybody, and I said, this is my nephew Brent. And this is the kid who you've basically been saying we shouldn't have to burden ourselves with. My senior year of high school, I did a project in my government class on the national debt, and I was blown away at how much debt we had as a country. It was $4 trillion. Taxation without representation. That's my kids. They are going to have to pay for what we have done to them. And frankly, it's immoral, it's not fair, it's unethical. It's incumbent on us to stand strong. If we don't do this, then who will?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Justin Pierce, Arizona State Representative and Top 10 Under 40 honoree.
Thank you. Greetings from the Grand Canyon State. I can't tell you how excited, there they are. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here at CPAC today speaking to you. I went to elementary school in Yuma, Arizona at the Ronald Reagan Fundamental School. And that's important. I know it's a little cliche for Republicans to invoke the name of President Reagan in our speeches sometimes, but I have to tell you, I am a Republican today, a conservative Republican, because President Reagan was the leader of the 80s, of my generation. So I want to take you back to the 80s. The year was 1986, January of 1986. You may remember that President Reagan was set to give the State of the Union address, but something happened that morning. The Space Shuttle Challenger blew up shortly after takeoff. Actually, one of the 6th grade teachers in my elementary school was one of the semifinalists for that Teacher in Space program that claimed the life of Krista McAuliffe, the school teacher, and 6 other brave astronauts that morning. So that evening, President Reagan addressed the country from the Oval Office instead of doing the State of the Union address. This was the first national disaster, tragedy in my memory. And I remember specifically he had a message that he directed to the school children of America because he knew that we'd been watching or listening that morning. And he said something very important. And in only a way that President Reagan could say it, he said, I know it is hard to understand, but sometimes painful things like this happen. It's all part of the process of exploration and discovery. It's all part of taking a chance and expanding man's horizons. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. As one of the school children to whom President Reagan directed his message that evening, I felt comforted and I was inspired that we could move forward with confidence even in the wake of a great tragedy. President Reagan had a special ability to inspire people that way. Now, I believe that if we as conservatives use our message to inspire, we can help people see the potential within themselves. And frankly, at its core, isn't that the message of conservatism? We believe in personal responsibility not because we like to see people suffer, although the left would like you to believe that. We know that personal responsibility raises the individual and makes them better. Instead of letting the left convince people that we want to shrink government because we don't want essential services in our communities, that's crazy. That's not our message. Our message is that limited government reduces the burdens on individuals and provides a promise to the private sector that it can flourish and thrive, and that's what helps our communities. And there's been a lot of talk about this one today. But the left wants to continue to make you believe, make the country believe, that we're not concerned about people's health care. And nothing could be further from the truth. Frankly, what we care about is that the government get out of health care, because individuals do not want government managing their health care. Period. Since I've invoked the name of President Reagan, I might say that he might have said about this debate that government is not the solution to our health care problem. Government is the problem. Thank you. You know, I mentioned at the beginning of my message today I was in the 5th grade at the Ronald Reagan Fundamental School when that tragedy happened. I want to tell you about another 5th grader, and it was in 2012, my son Jake. The morning after the 2012 election, Jake was sitting at our breakfast table, and I asked him if he had heard about the news from the previous evening about the election. And he had followed it fairly closely. He was a pretty big fan of Mitt Romney. I almost said President Romney, by the way. Wouldn't that have been great? My son looked sad. I knew he was disappointed. He told me he'd heard the results and he went back to his homework. I have to tell you, my heart ached at that point. I knew that he was disappointed. I knew he was concerned about his future. I was concerned about his future. But as a lot of the messages I think that we've heard today are, that was not a time for me to commiserate with him. So I didn't commiserate with him. It was a time for me to inspire him. So I went up behind him and I put my hands on his shoulders and I told him, among other things, I said, "Don't you worry, son. You're going to have the future that you deserve." And I felt confident saying that to him because I know that there are people like you all around this country, like people in this room, who will stand up for the values that make this country great and that will provide the future that my kids deserve and that your kids deserve. Like President Reagan's message to me as a young school child in 1986, the future still does not belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. But the problem is, over the last 6 years, all we've been told from this administration is that it's enough to hope. The country's been sold on the word hope. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm done hoping. I'm done waiting. I'm ready to inspire. And I know that we can do that. And I know when we inspire this country, we will do great things. I ask you to join me and the other conservative leaders that you've heard in inspiring this country to go forward. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless this wonderful United States of America.